Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Some beggars cross the line when you're being polite to them. In the first story, you'll see how far this guy has gone. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. I want your money, your food, and your clothes. A few weeks ago, my girlfriend and I were walking home from McDonald's. We just bought something to eat. Close to home, a homeless guy started talking to us, stating he was hungry and he was asking for money because he needed to pay a place to sleep. We were feeling extra generous and we gave him 5,000 colones, like $10. Take in mind this is a lot of money to give away, as the people usually give no more than 300 colones to beggars. The guy was so grateful, he thanked us and left. Fast forward, I was coming from Subway. I know, we're just a little too tired to cook, so we usually buy food. So I met this guy again. He approached me and said he needed some more help. I just didn't have any cash, and I didn't want to give him money every time he asked. However, as my girlfriend and I have had rough times at the beginning of our relationship 5 years ago, we're trying to help people out every time we can. So I offered one of my sandwiches. He took it, but he started telling me that he needed some clothes and shoes, and he and I are the same size, and asked to give him some clothing and shoes. I said, no, I don't have any, because we just gave away all our used clothing a couple of days ago. He said that he can go home with me and he'll wait in my house while I look for more clothing because we probably didn't give everything away. Hell to the no, I'll take a stranger to my house and give him the clothes and shoes we're currently using every day. He took off a little bit angry. With my sandwich, of course. A couple of minutes ago, my girlfriend called me saying she met this guy at the entrance of our neighborhood. She was late for work and she has transportation to work and she was not carrying cash. The guy approached her asking for money, saying we were nice people and always give him something. Homeless dude said he was waiting for her as he knew this was the time she always went to work. My girlfriend was shocked this guy knew her schedule and he was waiting for her. Anyways, my girlfriend said she has no money. Homeless guy says no problem, there's an ATM close by, they can go together and give him something. Unbelievable. My girlfriend gets mad and says he was crazy to think she was going together to the ATM and took off. I can't believe how people can take advantage of others and demand stuff while begging. And our second story. The time my coworker got fired because she was too busy hating me. Backstory. I work in a very small jewelry store situated directly across from 3 larger jewelry stores in a mall. I'm still pretty new there, and apparently extensive training is required to do anything. Our internet is also really crappy. So this might be a long one. We'll call my coworker Emma. Some notes about Emma. She works an office position, paperwork, even though we don't have an office and is technically still required to meet sales goals. She does not put any effort into looking nice. This will be significant later. Incident 1. You shouldn't need help, even though it's only your 3rd day here. I'm on my 1st week with the store, and I'm assigned to greet and direct customer inquiries. I have retail experience, so this is super simple. I greeted a couple, and they had a simple repair pickup. All you have to do is get the repair from the box and enter it into the computer. I, at this point, have never done one. My training buddy's on her break. It's just me and Emma in the store. By this time, I was already hesitant to approach her as she was pretty outward with her crankiness. Me. These guys are just picking up a repair, but I don't know how to do it. Do you have a minute? Emma, angry eye roll, dramatic huff. Okay. Walks me through the steps on computer, gives repair to customer, walks away without saying anything, leaving me standing with our copy of the repair receipt. Me, staring confused at the drawers behind the register, turn around, she's looking directly at me, glaring. Where do I? Emma, in the bread box. Me, the what? Emma, the bread box. Goes to a drop-down drawer that's around the corner in the watch repair stand, which at this point I have never ever seen. Points to drawer. Bread box. I thank her and put the slip away, returning to taking notes on inventory and brands and whatever. I don't work with her very often, so I put it out of my mind. Then one day I go on my break and bring back a cheesesteak and fries. I don't like the fries from the place I got my sandwich, but I brought them back so anyone else who wanted them could have them. I announced to my training buddy, TB for short, and Emma, I got extra fries from Charlie's. They're in the brown paper bag. Feel free to have some. TB says thanks and that she's starving and takes a few. I set my food and lemonade down on the table in the back room after shifting a few purses around to make room. Mind you, not actually picking up or handling anything, just nudging things a little since I wasn't feeling up to eating on the floor. We also have wall hooks for purses and jackets not 2 feet away. Incident 2. How dare you put your food on the food table? No dialogue in this one. Note, Emma, TB, and I are the only ones working. I take a bite of sandwich and head onto the floor. Emma goes to the restroom. 10 minutes later, return to take another bite of sandwich. Sandwich bag is gone. Oh no, sandwich bag is under a pile of purses crammed against the back corner of the wall, so is lemonade. Maybe someone was afraid they'd get dirty? Fair enough. Take another bite and head back to the floor. Get to work on training book with TB. Approximately 15 minutes later, TB gets a customer. Take this opportunity to sneak to get another bite of sandwich. Sandwich bag and lemonade are now balanced on the corner of the table, literally not even entirely on the table, crushed into the corner. Angrily cram rest of sandwich into my mouth and down the rest of the lemonade, leave purses where they are, and return to the floor to find Emma sitting behind the computer glaring at me. Incident 3. What do you think you're doing training on your training day? I was sitting alone at the counter with one of the store tablets doing an online brand training program and waiting for a page to load. It was going painfully slow, so I let my gaze wander around the mall hallways. I had not looked away from the tablet screen for more than a minute when I glanced to where Emma had been standing and received the coldest, sharpest glare I've ever seen radiate from a human being. I maintain eye contact for a few seconds before going back to the still not loaded page, to which she scoffs loudly and slams a stack of papers down on the front desk. I just tried to ignore her and finish the stupid online thing. Note there were 0 customers in or around the store at this time. This brings us to her downfall. Incident 4. Who do you think you are, being inefficient? At the end of each day, all the merchandise has to be put in bins and put into the safe. I do half the store and by this point have been working there for almost 3 weeks. It usually takes 4 or 5 bins to do my section of the store, but I was on my game and fit it into 2, reducing a lot of organization work as it's difficult to fit the bins nicely into the safe. I'm congratulated and received impressed words from the 2 girls closing with me that night. Feeling good. 3 days later is my next shift. I find out that Emma has been fired, and I'm given this reason. She stopped doing her office work and didn't get any of her numbers. She spent the whole day complaining about how you closed and said, "Who could be this effing stupid?" in front of a customer. I didn't really give a response, just an, "Oh," and went about my work. I'm told by one of the girls, Sarah for short, that Emma had literally talked crap about me every single day she'd been to work lately, even though we hadn't worked a shift together in like a week, calling me too high schoolish. I'm 20, she's 22, to work there and being sloppy and unprofessional. With my hair done, minimal makeup, a blazer, blouse, and dress slacks every day, says the girl who sometimes didn't comb her hair and wore hiking boots. I know she wasn't fired for hating me. She was fired because she sucked at her job. It just made the title more interesting. Well, some people just hate the world. You dealt with the hatred well, fellow retail Padawan. I wouldn't be sitting outside if I could let you in. I started working at a butcher shop when I was 14 or so, and this happened when I was like 18 or 19. So basically, I knew every customer since it's a smaller store. So I came to work like an hour early because, well, my mom started her work at 9 and I started at 10. So being the lazy 18, 19-year-old I was, I opted to sit on the chair outside the store while waiting for the boss to show up. Not 10 minutes after I was sitting there, a customer comes and asks me to let him in. I look at them and tell them the store doesn't open till 10, and if I was able to get in, I'd be sitting inside instead of sitting outside. Him and his wife start to give me crap, but I don't care and keep looking at my phone. They leave and come back 20 minutes later and give me crap about being lazy and that they were in a rush and wanted to get the meat so they can start preparing the food. Again, I tell them they can come back at 10. I can't even get in. Like, WTF, what's the point of me sitting outside? 10 o'clock on the dot, they're back and come inside, and I ask to serve them, and they get all pissy and tell me they don't want to be served by me, but they want to talk to my boss. So I call my boss over, and they start giving him crap about how I'm lazy and should get fired for being disrespectful. This is where my boss takes my side and tells them that the store opens at 10, and if they have a problem with how I treated them, they can go to another store. That day, he also gave me a key to the store so I can chill inside instead of waiting for him. And our last story. Entitled parent goes up chain of command to argue with my dad. My dad is the owner/CEO of a group of pharmacies, but still chooses to work full-time there. I'm 10 at the time. This story's about 8 years old and a very funny memory. As both my parents were working full-time, I'd spend a lot of time at the pharmacies before and after school. One particular day, I was sitting on a chair at a desk, vetoed to the whole store, just playing with a toy car. Next thing I know, there's a small kid, couldn't be above the age of 6, next to me asking for my car. Quite oblivious, having not seen him before, 10-year-old me thought he was one of the pharmacist's children and tried to talk with him. Suddenly, a 40-year-old woman in a dress who was definitely not supposed to be behind the counter is standing next to him, gesturing for me to give him the car. Credit to my dad, who saw her immediately and asked her what her and her child were doing behind the counter. The Karen responds, "I saw this child here and decided that mine should play with him, but he isn't giving my child the toy." My dad replies, "Ma'am, that's my kid, and you and your child aren't allowed back here." The Karen starts to turn red. "Just because he's your child does not mean that he gets special privileges. I want to see your manager so I can complain about how you're treating my child." My dad smiled to himself and went to the back of the shop and walked back out saying, "Hi, I'm the manager. What seems to be the problem?" Note that there's a large sign that says what pharmacist is in charge at any given time. The Karen sees this and then says, "I'd like to see the pharmacist in charge." My dad smiles again and walks to the back and repeats what he did before. The Karen, visibly shaking at this point, screams, "How dare you treat me like this? I know the owner, and I'll have him fire you." My dad's actually surprised at the comment and says to her, "How do you know him?" The Karen, thinking she has my dad at the ropes, smirks and says, "We're family friends. His kids are friends with mine, and he would not have a problem with me leaving my kids here." My dad then asks me, "You ever seen this kid before?" I reply with a shake of the head, and then my dad points at his name tag and then at a plaque with the owner's names on it, and it dawns on her. The person who said kids were friends had his kid right next to hers the whole time. Embarrassed, she grabs her kid and immediately leaves the store, having already received her medication. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.